Hoodoo Hotties, and we are back with another podcast episode. And I am here with my favorite family member in the world, Nisha Shanell. Welcome to the podcast.
I'm excited.
I'm super excited too. Okay, so basically for this episode, we are going to break down what is hoodoo. We're going to talk about our own personal ancestral experiences. We're going to laugh, we're going to kiki, and we're going to have some fun. Okay, so just to start off, let's start off with how you identify spiritually. Like, what are you? What's your practice? If you feel comfortable sharing, what are some of your gifts? Give me a rundown.
Okay, so hoodoo, that's basically for me, hoodoo. My spiritual gifts is, well, also, hold up, first off, hoodoo, and I believe in God as well. I believe in a higher power. So that's first. And my spiritual gifts. So clairvoyance, I have clear seeing, I have visions, dreams, I can see spirits, mediumship. I can hear spirits, I can talk to the spiritual realm, people from the spirits from the spiritual realm.
So you just be checking up with the dead, basically.
Yes. The dead, the angels, archangels too. Hello. And yeah, I probably got a couple more that I'm not thinking about. Dreams, I said dreams, right? Yeah, I do cards, I do readings, all that good stuff.
She's dope, guys. And we're gonna put her information in the bio in case you guys want to book her for a reading or a Reiki session because she is a Reiki practitioner. She's amazing.
I do Reiki too.
Okay, so tell me about your origin story. How did you find hoodoo? How did hoodoo find you? How long have you been practicing? Like, what's the story?
Yes. So, first off, I always been doing stuff from hoodoo and I didn't know. So like my family always been doing it. I remember I used to have bad dreams. I wake up and then my grandmother had me reading like Psalms 23 or Psalms 91 and like just putting like rubbing me down with oil and all these different stuff. And I never knew. So that's first. But when I really started tapping into myself is after I had my youngest son. Gabriel. That's funny, Gabriel.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Look at that.
It was after I had him. And honestly, you know what's crazy? You was doing a lot of readings, and I already was like I always was like intrigued by readings. So I think you said something about me tapping more into my spirituality, and then this is when my ears rung for the first time, and Archangel Michael came to me. And I just knew it was him. It was weird. Like I knew it was him. And he told me to tap in. So I tapped in.
And the rest is history.
And that's been like, oh my God, it's about to be 5 years. It's about to be 5 years.
That's crazy, right? It's been so long.
Yes. Wow.
We not babies no more in the game, bro. We seasoned.
Oh my gosh.
And then I also feel like that speaks to how hoodoo already exists in the family structure. Like it exists in the culture, it exists in the things that we consider to be Black culture, but it just takes that one person. Like I had this conversation with somebody the other day and I was like, oh, when it comes to family structures, ancestors usually like to go to like the person that's awake first. So whether that be an older sibling or that be somebody that just has been more tapped in and they could speak to it, and they'll use that person as a medium to get everybody else in line. So I guess I was that medium. Thank God.
That is so true because that's how my grandma is. It was my grandma and my great grandma. I would always I knew to go to them and they knew everything. Even right now, I call my grandma for everything.
Tell me more about the Reiki. Like how did the Reiki come into play?
Okay, so Reiki, yes, because Reiki is different. Well, how am I explain it? So Reiki came into play because this is a funny story. So I remember being like, I was trying to figure out I think I had like a spiritual awakening after I had Gabriel, right? So after I had him, it was like I knew I was supposed to do something, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I already was working like with kids, like in a group home, but I knew I didn't want to go back to that. So it was like kind of like, so I asked, I think I even prayed, I don't even remember, but all I know is I had a dream. I had a dream.
It always starts with a dream.
This is the funny part because I had a dream of healing hands. So at first I'm thinking I watched too much Charm. I'm like, I'm watching too much Charm because what is going on? Why am I having dreams of healing hands? But I haven't watched Charm in a while. So I started looking it up. So I'm writing healing hand dreams, and then I came across Reiki. I still didn't really know what Reiki was. So now I'm like researching, and then I found that you can get it done over the phone. So that's when I went and I got it. I got a session over the phone, and the lady had it was like 2 sessions for like one price or whatever. So I set price, and I couldn't go because I just had the baby. So I couldn't go, yeah, I couldn't go in person. So she was like, "You do it on the phone." I'm like, "You can do it over the phone."
Yeah, right. Because that's
So
so
I remember it was funny because she was telling me I'd be in a relaxed area. So also I have twins, you guys. So I have twins, and they were 2 years old. They were
she a
two.
mother.
Yeah. They were 2, 10, and 3, and then so they was like my house was a little. It was crazy. I was like, I gotta go. So I remember telling my husband at the time, ex-husband now. I was telling him like, oh, I'm gonna go in the car for a little bit. So I went in the car, and when she did it, I was like, what the hell? I had my eyes was closed, and I kid you not, I could feel the tingling, and it felt like really relaxed. And then I got it done like a week later, and that's when I was like, no, I gotta do it, because that's when I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't realize I had so much. I felt lighter, and I ain't never felt lighter like that. It was amazing. So then I tapped in and I started doing it. Honestly, that's how my gifts started being evolved more because I after I got the session, I started doing like researching it, and I took a class, and then I opened up my business, Finding You Healing,
We're gonna
and
put
then
that in the description as well.
yes. And then I started doing sessions, and that's when I realized because I always had like little gifts, but I didn't hone in into all of them. So I already had dreams. I already would like see something, but I didn't really like. But after I did start doing Reiki a lot, because Reiki also helps with, like your chakras, like your whole mind, body, and soul, your spirituality. So it helps with your gifts too. It helps enhance it.
So anybody, I don't mean to cut you off. So anybody that doesn't know what Reiki is basically using the universal life force energy to remove blockages out of your meridians and get chakra centers. So that's why Nisha is saying like after she did the Reiki, she was able to open up to her gifts because the blockages were gone.
Yes, it's like having a massage without being touched. But the benefits is better. That's how it is. So yeah, I was doing it on myself, you guys. And I could do not. That's when I'm like, oh my God, my gifts start. I didn't even realize it. Like stuff, I'm like, hold up, I'm hearing, I'm seeing everything. Everything just was like really strong and evolved. So Reiki.
Like,
Everybody just saw Reiki.
On. Time to wake up.
For real. Everybody, please, if you don't, please try Reiki energy healing at least once.
At least once. I agree.
Once. Yes. One time. Oh my God.
Okay, so let's switch gears back to Hoodoo. Because for me personally, like when I was going down my family tree, you know this because we share the same ancestors. I was realizing a lot of the Hoodoo practices were already apparent in my family. Like they were already doing things, and I didn't realize what they were doing was Hoodoo. Like I remember after my Nana passed, God bless her soul, we had went into her house, and me and my younger cousin at the time discovered she had a whole protection altar for all the grandkids. No, I done walked past that table all the time when I was a kid, and I didn't even know what the hell it was. So, did you have any of those experiences?
Yes. As soon as you said it, I was like, I now look back and I'm like, yo, my grandma has an altar, my aunt has an altar, even the Jericho, the plant. My grandma, my grandma and my aunt had that. They all had so many different things. My grandma even had a dream book, and she had a book on Hoodoo, and I didn't know what Hoodoo was. Had so many different things, and even like that's what I said, like the herbs to rub you down, like medicine, every different thing, speaking into the medicine, everything. Hoodoo.
And then like I recently learned, because I study, restudy, that Hoodoo doesn't necessarily have to incorporate the Bible. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Hoodoo is more so on the ancestral renovation, the herbal medicine, the ancestral connection, and like connecting with nature. That's Hoodoo, but the Christianity aspect of it, for those who don't know, was only incorporated because that's all our ancestors had to go on in terms of spiritual beliefs. So what they were doing, they were using what they were given, which is what Hoodoo is about, using what you got and making it work. which
Yeah.
is crazy to me because like monster alchemy, like what? Who
For
thought of
real. Even like the saw at the door, like all these things, like little stuff. Even when you pour in the lick out for the dead homies.
For the dead homies, and you know they do that in the hood. They don't even know that they're practicing. Like when they set up the
Yes.
shrines, like when you're in the hood and you see somebody they die and you see them set up the little altars in the
Yes.
street.
I
I'm
might say
like, do you
even
not know what
the candles and everything.
you're
They don't even be knowing. That's
No,
a
they
fact.
don't. And I feel like that's so beautiful that hoodoo is such
Mm-hmm.
a it's such a I don't want to say a free going practice because it does have structure and it does have some
Yeah.
rules, but in terms of like being ingrained, it's ingrained in everything that we do already. So hoodoo is basically just learning where you come from, learning your lineage, learning your family stories, learning your ancestral stories, getting that altar set up, connecting with your spirit guides, starting to give offerings and kind of just healing your line bit by bit, and not even hoodoo as a whole, because you can't talk about hoodoo without talking about enslavement. The
Yeah.
story of the oppressed using what they naturally have to take their power back from their slave
Mm-hmm.
masters is the most powerful thing ever. Like I
Yep.
always say, if I could practice hoodoo for the rest of my life, I'm gonna practice hoodoo for the rest of my life.
That's a fact. I would, oh my God, that's like the best thing that ever happened.
I'm saying though, because like I feel like as a people, it's always this constant search of like, who are we? Who are we? Who are we? Who are we? And not even knowing that these answers were right in our face the whole time.
Yes. And
That
we've
shit
been
is
doing it like
the
forever.
whole
We don't even know.
time.
Even you know it's funny, even the superstitious, like the don't sweep your feet on
Don't
the
sweep the
Jewish.
feet. Mm-hmm.
Yo, hoodoo.
Or
I was
don't
like,
leave your
oh
purse on the ground, or you ain't gonna have no money.
yes. Oh my God. It's so many different things.
or, or putting the black eyed peas on the stove on New Year's Eve.
Yes, even cleaning your whole house and doing the whole
Or
thing.
even like the man in the house walking through the door with some money, like all those superstitions of hoodoo.
Yep.
And I feel like it really makes me giggle. It makes me giggle that we're celebrating the Gregorian New Year anyway. But it makes me giggle that people take these rituals and they normalize it so much, but they don't even realize that they're participating in hoodoo.
Yep. That's a
That shit
fact.
is fucking crazy. Okay. So tell me about the story of your first altar. Like, how did it set up? How did spirit like come to you and say, "Hey, I want this as offerings"? Like, how did that go?
Oh yeah. So, yo, you started a lot of things.
I tried.
I I thought about doing it and I was kind of scared because like okay, so I was living with my ex-husband. So I didn't like he knew like everybody kind of knew I always like cuz I always used to say I was going to have twins. Like I always said that. Like I used to say little stuff. But he knew a little bit but like, you know, I was like scared cuz I was like, "Oh my God, like you know, scared, especially because the stigma behind it, like what is altar, whatever. So
Right. They
I
think
think,
it's demonic and you dancing with the devil and shit.
yeah. So that's the first thing everybody thinks. So I remember thinking it, but I kind of ignored it. And then you, my friend, was on live. And I think you did something. It was like you do the altar, and I'm like, oh damn, I gotta do the altar. So now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And it's funny because I felt like I knew kind of what to do. I think you said a couple things, but I kind of also knew intuitively, which was like, I don't know, it was weird. So I knew I did the did I didn't have a white cloth at first. I think I had something else, like a gold or
Because white
something.
is not always a necessity. Like,
Yeah.
let's
I
talk
had
about it. Because people always say, you need a white cloth on your altar. And I feel like that's a good thing for a beginner because you don't want to invite
yeah.
in malevolent spirits. But once you evolve your altar and your spirits,
Yes.
like what they want, and evolves with you.
And you use what you got. At the end of the day, you always use what you got. If you don't got white, listen, start the altar. I don't
You
care.
better use purple.
Exactly. That's what I think I did. That's what I used. I used purple was my first one. That's what I was like. I'm trying to think it was a gold. No, it was purple. It was purple. It's gonna have my cup. Oh my God, I was so excited. And the first people I did, matter of fact, I didn't have an ancestor altar. I had a spirit guide altar first. Cause
Okay, so
I
wait.
had my spirit
Explain
guide.
this. Explain the difference between
I
spirit guides
am.
and ancestors.
Yep. So spirit guides. So spirit guides is with you. Okay, here it goes. Spirit guides are assigned to you to guide you in your life from different phases.
Mm-hmm.
It might change sometimes, it might stay the same, right? But ancestors is or more. Oh, also your spirit guides can be an ancestor as well. But spirit guides are these are the people that's like it's probably you probably got like I think it's 1 to like 4 mainly. Some people have 4, some people have 2, whatever. But they guide you. They guide you into like basically your phases in life, right? Now your ancestors don't necessarily have to help you. You
Oh,
understand?
let
Like
me just add that your spirit guides don't necessarily have to have that familial connection where your ancestors have that familial
yes,
connection because you guys
yes.
share the
Oh,
blood.
yep. Also, yep. Your spirit guides could be a guide from like a different past life, a past time, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
past life as well. So, yes, it could even be a friend from a past life from like forever ago.
Right, 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 right.
Yes. So your ancestors definitely families, definitely your lineage, whatever your generation, right? But it's more so they don't have to. Like they can be spirit guides to other people. They don't have to. So when you call in, you have to kind of. Sometimes they'll just be around you, but you have to kind of call them in more so than your spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
So what are some ways to call in your ancestors in your opinion? Because I know, but
Yes, yes. So and it could be different ways too, different ways. So
right.
my ways, let me see. So okay, so when I did my altar, I'm gonna go back to my altar. So when I did the altar, I lit a candle. I lit a candle for protection. Oh, listen, protection, yo, protection is important in anything you do.
Yeah, if
Don't
you
do
don't learn
anything
anything,
without
learn that
protection.
first.
Anything without protection. Anything. Protection, cleansing, and protection. You have to cleanse everything and then protection. So I did
Mm,
that. Cleanse protection. I knew that. I don't know why I knew that, but I knew that.
mm,
Cleanse protection. Boom. So protection, so you just won't have anybody coming in. And then
right.
I lit a candle for my spirit guides because I knew who my spirit guides were. I don't know why. I just knew. I knew I had my brother for a fact because my brother
Mm.
passed away young. And then I knew I had my grandma. And then then my other grandma came in my dream. And then you told me it was my grandpa. And I remember because I was like, my grandpa, I never, and also, it doesn't have to, you don't always have to meet your spirit guides as well in this lifetime because I never met my grandfather. My grandfather passed away when my dad was 10.
That's the same with
So,
my grandfather. He damn
yeah,
skippy he's on that also, but I he died before I was born. So a
yeah.
lot of the times ancestors they watch over you and
Yep.
you don't even know who they are.
That's a fact. Cause I was like, what? And I think you told me something like, oh, like ask. And at this point I could hear, like I knew my inner self. So I was like, all right, if this is this grandpa, tell me something only my grandma would know. And I heard
Mm.
2 names and I went to my grandma and my grandma was like, tell me a whole story. And I'm like, oh shoot. That's what
Yeah,
I
I
told her.
literally I always give that false safe plan. Like if you're ever wanting to get in contact with your ancestors, even in the astral realm, because tricks of spirits are a thing. A
Yes.
lot of them they like to encompass the energy of your ancestors to trick you to try to siphon from you.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to do is when I do finally connect with those spirit guides, I like to ask them a question that only me and them know the answer to. And if
Yup.
they don't answer at all or they say the wrong thing, you know it's not them and it's time to get out of there.
Yup. That's why I'm like big on protection because after that happened, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And that's how I started because I'm like, Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa. That's how I knew it was him. And I remember talking to my grandma. I'm like, Grandma, like, girl. And when I told grandma was like, duh, like she knew.
Uh-huh.
She was like,
And
yeah,
then
I knew
another
that
thing
already.
about
I
the
was like,
elders,
oh, because
like
I'm like, Grandpa.
they know. So then you have to ask the question of how dangerous was it for the fact that they couldn't tell us when we were younger? Like
Yeah.
that's when you go into like spiritual warfare and then you talk about how kids are more susceptible to spiritual warfare. So in
Yes.
their minds, and then think about the times that they grew up in. The civil rights era, Jim Crow, the end of slavery, segregation. So it was more so these
Mm-hmm.
practices weren't anything that were written down; they were orally passed down, and
Yup.
even then, you had to err on the side of caution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how has your altar grown since the first one?
Oh, my Lord. It's been like, super evolved. Oh my gosh, we're not gonna say too much. Also, when you have an altar, do not show anybody your altar really, and don't
Please
let
don't
nobody
post
touch
your
it.
damn altar online.
Yes, 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 please, and don't let people touch it. If they touch it, cleanse it.
Mhm.
Okay. And don't have
Mm-hmm.
people that's alive, like a pictures. You want to put pictures? Don't have nobody that's alive on there,
Oh
please.
yes, that is an absolute no. Do not have anybody that's alive on that
No.
altar because you could be wishing them an early death when you have people that's alive on
Yes.
the altar. So do not have
Yes.
any live people.
So my altar. Oh my God. So my altar was just my spirit guides. I had like 4 in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, girl, I got spirit guides. I have my ancestors, and I have I have a lot of spirits on there. Okay, you guys, and also, oh my God, when I first started, I only had probably like a cup of water, maybe some food. Yeah.
The little necessities. Now they
Yeah,
spoiled.
a little crystal and a candle. Oh my God! Now, oh my Lord, I got mad candles. I got oils. I got the cup
But
of water is
like
still
I
there.
feel like it makes you appreciate the journey though.
Yes,
Because you think about it, like from my first altar to the altar I have now, like my altar is massive. Like,
that's
and
what I'm
I'm not
like.
even finished. Like, and then it's like you have to have an appreciation for the fact that they showed themselves to you so you can build
Yes,
space. Because it's not only healing you, it's healing them. It's not only teaching you, it's
that's a
teaching
fact.
them. So it's kind of like healing the
Hmm.
past, but also healing the future.
And healing your generation. Facts.
Exactly. Because we all need
Yup.
it at the end of the day, and it's time for it. And I feel like it's also a sign of the times. And I always say, like, I'm thankful that we were able to go through that journey before it became mainstream,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we were able to preserve the integrity of it and also able to practice in the ways that the elders did. But of
yup,
course, adding those new age things that kind of evolved the practice as a whole.
yeah. That's a fact. Yup. Yeah,
Okay,
and in that
so
time I wasn't even doing any cards either. Either.
yeah, like people don't even know tarot, guys, is not
Yeah.
hoodoo. And I'm saying this as a reader that's been reading tarot for about 5 or 6 years. I know tarot is not hoodoo. Now, if you want to talk about hoodoo, you would be talking about divining with like
Yeah.
playing cards or like coins, because of
And
course they use
wounds
what
and
they
stuff
had.
too.
Yeah, and runes and stuff like that. They didn't use no damn tarot cards. The system of tarot is not even African based, it's European based. A lot of people don't
Mm-hmm.
know that.
Yep. That's a
Again,
fact.
that's using the new age practices with the old traditions. So it's kind of evolving the practice as a
Yeah.
whole, but we have to get back to what hoodoo actually is, I feel like.
Yes. And people don't do everything you see on TikTok. Please
Yes,
don't.
please.
Because it's especially in that was another thing too. I remember I had a friend, and this one I was starting Reiki energy healing. I had my business was only Reiki energy healing, and she was practicing tarot and oracle and everything, the cards, right? And she was telling me, girl, you need to do it to make money. And I'm like, no, I'm
Mhm.
not just doing it to make money. You just don't do it to make money. You have to be called to it. So
Exactly. And I
then,
feel like when you are called to it, you have to understand the responsibility you have. You're connecting people with their spirit guides.
yeah,
You may run into somebody that is like us, like in the beginning, and not know anything. And what you tell them is going to be dependent on how their journey goes. So you have to
yep,
have integrity. Not everybody is an intuitive reader. Everybody can look up the foundational meanings of a tarot card and read like that, but can you read intuitively?
yes, yes, yes. That's why I was scared at first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember thinking, oh my God, I have to practice. And then I got the cards and I put them away. And I was like, I'm just going to practice first. And I had a dream. A dream. And the cards was like, it was like, like showing me cards. And I was like, okay, I'll just do it. And then when I did it, I realized I'm an intuitive reader. I didn't need to know the meanings.
Right. And then
For
I feel like
real.
eventually with tarot, like you get the foundational readings, and the more you read, the more like I don't want to say it becomes a crutch, but the more your channeling aspects come into it, and the cards just
Yes.
become more of a confirmation rather than the actual message. Like you'll know the message
Yeah.
before the cards pop out.
Yes, the cards are just a tool. The cards are
Mm-hmm.
that's people don't think. I think people don't even
They don't
understand
understand
that
it.
because somebody had asked me that, like, oh, like the cards. I'm like, the cards are not telling me stuff. We're using the cards to
As a
communicate
tool.
with the
Right.
spirit guides. They're not. Oh my God, these cards have energy. make the
We
cards have
put the
energy.
energy into the
That makes
cards,
sense.
and the cards just exercising our intuition. It's kind of like being on a treadmill. The card is like a treadmill.
That's a fact. Cause I'm like, what? Like, yeah, no. Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, so what has venerating your dead taught you? Like, what lessons have you gotten from venerating your dead?
Whoa. Ooh, self-awareness.
Mm.
Self-awareness and just awareness, but really self-awareness, because a lot of things I thought was right, or I didn't think that I even have an issue. As far I didn't think I need to heal, they taught me. And also, like, it's because mainly because I asked them for help. So let me explain this too. Like, if you have spirit guides, ancestors, they won't really interfere and give you all these signs unless you ask them. So you have to give them permission. You have to ask them. Just even by speaking, I give you permission to show me the way, guide me in this, whatever. So once I did that, I had so many signs and they were interfering in a lot of things. And I realized, like, I didn't know I was always in my head. I used to hear, like, I knew other people overthinking, but I'm like, I wasn't, until I realized I was always thinking about what's gonna happen next, the future. And if I
Right.
didn't know, like, the future outcomes, like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. How you know it's gonna happen? I used to just assume that part. And then also is that was mainly thing like that. And then I didn't realize how much I needed protection and cleansing. We just
Yeah.
think, things is going on, things is going wrong, or we might have somebody else's energy on us and we don't even know. So they made me really aware of a lot of things. Like, girl, if you don't go cleanse, if you don't get this bad, you don't get this protection. Girl, self awareness, like, oh my gosh, like so much. Oh my God, yeah.
I feel like for me, veneration has taught me the importance of learning the stories of your elders, the importance of
Yeah, that
listening
too.
to them when they speak when you're a child and you think they talking gibberish, but they're really giving you the gems and you don't realize it until you get older. You trying to figure it out, and they
Yup.
ancestors, so then they looking at you like you wasn't
Yeah,
listening to me when I was talking to you all those years ago.
that's true. That is true. And yes, in the stories, there's a fact. Yes, yes. Yes, that's true. Because they also be carrying on the legacy. We're carrying
That's how
on.
the traditions
Yes.
get carried on through the storytelling. I forgot what the proper name for it in West Africa is. I think it's like griots or something like that. But that's
Oh, yeah.
actually a gift within itself. That comes from our line. So like telling those
Mhm.
stories and keeping your ancestors' memories alive, because I think a lot of people with death, they have this construct of like once somebody dies, they're gone forever
That's it.
and they wipe
Yeah.
off the face of the earth. But lo and behold, energy never dies.
Yup.
It
That's a
just
fact.
transforms into something
Yeah,
new. And I feel like
that's
that's another
true.
thing venerating your ancestors kind of teaches you. Like, you can still have connections with these people. And it may be crazy because, especially if you walk with those ancestors in life,
Mm-hmm.
your connection with them when they transition may be stronger than it was when they're on the physical plane, because now
That's
they
a
don't
fact.
have any limitations, they don't have any guilt, they don't have any shame. Like they're free to tell their stories and not really care about how you feel about it, because that it is what it is at that point.
That's true. That's true. That's super true. Yes, because also I realize how much I tell like my kids about them. Even teaching them, they even help me to learn so I can teach them like spirituality as a whole in general.
Oh yeah, because the kids be knowing. I be telling my clients all the time, listen to your kids. I don't care if
Yes.
you think that they don't know what they talking about. They know
Oh,
what
they
they talking
know.
about. You need to
They
listen.
super know. Yes. Yes, and that's why, and that's my main thing too, because I think without that, I wouldn't have been teaching them like more. I would not have incorporated spirituality in teaching them. If
Because it's
that makes
not
sense.
really about us. Like, we went through our shit. We old, like, well, I don't want to say old, but you know
You
what I
said,
mean.
yo,
Older.
you know,
Older.
I'm in
So
my early
like
30s. Okay.
we're already conditioned, and the most that
Yeah,
we're doing is unconditioning. But when it comes to the next generation, they can learn from scratch. This can be
that's a
something that's
fact.
normalized
Yes.
for them, and that is what
Yes.
changes the trajectory, and that's really what's about. That's why a lot of the ancestors are calling their descendants to wake up, because now
Mhm.
it's time to switch things around. Now it's time to go back to the old way of doing things. Even like I was talking to a client about this the other day. You see how all the blacks are coming from the northern states and they're coming all the way back down to the south? Why do you
Yep.
think that is?
That's a
That's a
fact.
call. It's
That's a
reverting back to
fact.
how things were used to be. We were
Yup.
never supposed to go up north.
That's true.
It's a difference if you were born there, and your
Yeah.
family is from here, because there are native tribes in those northern states. But in terms of climate, in terms of region, in terms of ancestral energy, it's not up north.
That's true. That is really true. I never thought about that. That's true.
It's not
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah. Because
Think
I
about
remember
it.
about
Everybody has
moving.
a family member from the South. The slave
Yeah.
ports were in the South. The slave ports were in South Carolina, and the slave ports were in
Yup.
Georgia.
That's a fact. That's why I'm sitting here like, oh shoot, yes. Because I was just thinking about moving to North Carolina. That's
hmm
crazy. Oh my
That's a
God.
call in itself. So,
Hmm.
guys, if you guys are feeling called, if you're living in city environments, because city environments are not conducive for people that are energetically sensitive. Now, if you
Yeah.
can deal with it, that's between you and God. But if you're feeling that call to move.
Yup. Any call, man. Listen, I'll be like,
Yeah, honestly, because when you disobey spirit, when you disobey your ancestors, there are consequences, and not trying to make it all doom and gloom
yeah,
or like fearmonger, but it's kind of like with a kid. If you tell a kid, hey, don't touch the stove is hot, and they go and touch the stove, you can't control that they touch the stove, but you can tell them, hey, you see how you just burned yourself? Don't do it
yup,
again.
that's a fact. And in
That's literally
general,
how ancestors work.
yeah, because in general, most of them, was majority, see far. They see stuff way more than we see stuff. They see stuff from a different realm than we see stuff. We see stuff surface level. They see stuff more spiritual. So they sit here telling us, don't do this, right? Don't be with that friend, right? And then we still like, yeah, whatever. And now we be with the friend, and now we got a whole big argument. We had a whole big thing, and they like, this could have been avoided, because we told you.
If you would just
Told
listen.
you. We told you to stop talking to that person. You ain't listen.
Like
But
literally,
everything.
what can you do? And then like I feel like it's so interesting to get to know your ancestors, especially the ones that you walked with, because you realize that their personalities while they were living on a realm aren't much different.
Yes, and the foods they like. Oh my God,
Yeah, or like the things that they want as offerings. Like I know ancestors that tell they descendants like, hey, roll up a blunt and put it on the altar. My
I
spirits do
know.
it.
I don't even
He's
smoke,
making that
y'all.
face because our
I don't
spirits
even
do that.
smoke, and I gotta
Yeah,
get the weed to blow over there into the altar.
and you don't even smoke.
Exactly. I said I don't even smoke. Nothing. No cigarettes, no
And
weed, and I gotta be like,
it's a humbling experience, but it also opens your mind up and realize that it's more things outside of yourself. Like
yes. And I
society
feel.
teaches you that your whole world to revolve around you, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like tapping into those spiritual gifts and learning your practice and learning, even if you don't get into a spiritual practice, even learning about your family's history
Yes.
can do
And it
more
gives you
harm.
comfort too, because when
Exactly, because like when people would be like, "Oh, where are you from?" You could be like, "Oh yeah, my family's from West Africa, and they dropped
yeah,
off here, and then they came through the slave ports," and like knowing that, and then they'll look at you like, "But that's the due diligence of studying your
yeah.
lineage."
Yep. And then also I was saying comfort really also with like if when somebody passed away, you don't feel like I used to be so sad. And I'm
Hmm
sad still, but I know that I write good. Like, because so many people, my brother was like, oh my God, really, really big. People knew him, a lot of people knew him. And I still miss him, but I'm like, I'm able to actually like get advice from him. I'm actually able to like feel him. So it's not as bad as it was when it first happened. More so. Like, I have more comfort. Like,
Yeah,
okay, brother, like my brother's
turns
around
into
me.
you thinking that they're gone and you missing them, so you just miss
Yeah.
the physicality of them because you understand that their energy still exists. If you want to go ask them a question, you can go to the altar and ask them a question. But
Yes.
that doesn't exude the fact that you're still living a human experience and now this person is missing out of your human experience. And that's where your grief comes from. It also
Yes.
helps with the grieving process, which is why I pride myself personally, and I know you pride yourself on ancestral connection. Like, if you're not connecting to your ancestors first, it don't
Mhm.
make no sense.
Yes.
You can't jump into
Also,
this.
what you about? I was about to say something about the damn. Oh, also, listen here, everybody. Oh my God, this is important because this made me think of it. When everybody that passed away is not
With ancestor.
your spirit guide, not, and they also can't. How can you say? Don't just put them on the altar, okay? Just because
Mm-hmm.
they passed away, especially violently.
Mm-hmm.
Violently, that's important, right? Violently because Oh my God, that's like a low. It's how can you say it? It's like a low vibrational energy,
They're
and you
ghosts,
have to wait till
basically.
they. Yeah, you have to wait till they
They
evolve
elevate.
for them to come in. Yeah, because my brother was shot, but it was oh my God, it's like oh how many years ago?
That
It's
was a
mad
long
years
time.
ago, like 17 years ago. It is, I think.
Jeez.
Yes.
That's
No, it's about to
crazy.
yeah. It's about to be eight. It's about to be 18, I think. So that's why. So he like, when he first passed away, he's in a because a lot of them have to learn. A lot of them have like guilt and a shame, all that stuff from when they
Mm-hmm.
passing away, especially if it was like unexpectedly, especially like violently. So he had
Mm-hmm.
to evolve back up because you're okay, also your spirit guides are always of high vibrational energy too. Some of your ancestors are not. So when you call your ancestors, please do gotta say ancestors of your highest good, highest and greatest good.
Benevolent ancestors.
Love
Because
yeah.
the benevolent ancestors still exist within your family line
Yes.
and they don't mean you good. So if you're calling them in, they'll start fucking up your life just because they want to or because
Yup.
they
Or they
had a
want
fucked up life and they want you to have one. But like, let's talk about the importance of knowing that ancestor is an earned title. I
yes.
say this again, an earned title.
Spirit
Not
guides too.
everybody is your ancestor. And like you said, depending on how they died, that plus how much information they had and if they knew where they was going will play a role in how long they take to transition. Like if you ask
Yes.
a medium or a person that works with spirits, okay, my person just died, how long before I can talk to them? Me, in my professional opinion, I say 60 days to a year.
And you was saying that. I was like, girl, I can speak to the dead when they first pass away. It's weird, but I can.
Yeah,
But
but
that
that's
doesn't
such a slippery slope doing that because you don't know what plane they on.
I'm telling you, it depends. It
Yeah,
depends on
it depends
it's
on the
not
situation.
everybody. Like my godfather passed away, I didn't speak to him like right away. I couldn't. I was like, I can't, it's like me trying to tap into him, but he felt like I couldn't. I couldn't get him.
Mhm,
That makes sense. So I
mhm,
was like,
mhm.
I'm not lowering my vibration. So I just left him.
Right, right,
He
right.
passed away
Speak to you.
naturally, but I'm like, he probably was a little lost. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm, mhm.
Like I had my friend grandmother that passed away, and she was all into church. She was really tapped in, Bible stuff, everything. So when she passed away, it was like a week or two, and like I knew it was love. I felt it, love.
Mhm,
I was crying,
mhm.
love, everything. So I feel like it depends,
It's
man.
a situational by situational basis, honestly.
Yeah, that's what
And
go
let's
back to what you
think
said. When
about
you
the fact
said it depends how much they knew when they transitioned.
when these spirits do elevate, you do not have to obligate yourself to work with them. Like if
Yeah.
you have ancestors on your altar and you're giving offerings and you're giving offerings and you're giving offerings and you don't see no, not saying that you're doing it to reap the benefits of it. But if they aren't working for you, that means they're just taking from you. So that means to take their ass off that altar. That's
That's
what
why I
that
said when
means.
you call your ancestors, you gotta call the ones that's of love and light, because they the only ones that's
Mhm.
really they're gonna guide you. They're gonna be there for you. You call
But
everybody,
even
don't
the
just call
benevolent
them.
ones, because you have to think like if you know how the ancestor lived while they were living, that'll give you more of an idea of what type of ancestor they will be. Like I had an aunt, she passed the same around the same time my nana passed, and I put her on my altar, and she was not doing nothing for me. Like the most she may have done was coming to maybe like one dream over the course of 3 years to scare me to let me know that she was there. And I was like, I'm not gonna keep on giving you offerings and spoiling you basically, and you not doing nothing for me. Nope. Time to go back into the ancestral well. You go. We're not doing that.
I'm done. Well, yeah, you know more with that part because remember I told you my altar. I just changed my altar like a couple months ago to ancestors. Remember, I had the spirit
Mm-hmm.
guides,
Mm-hmm.
strictly my spirit guides because I know they're gonna help me. I know who they are. That's what it is. So
And
I
even
just
like
included it.
the ancestors, when you do have your altar set up, when you're gaining a new ancestor, if you're supposed to venerate them, they will let you know that they're about to die and to light that transition candle for them.
They surely will.
They will let you know, like, hey, another ancestor is coming. You need to start preparing. Because not only are they preparing to meet with the other family members, you have to prepare to prepare the portal for them to be
Yep.
able to come back and forth and communicate with you. So
Yeah.
situational by situational basis, and this is why I always say to work with the ancestors that you know first.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're in situations where like you're adopted or you don't know your family, what do you suggest to do with that? Like, how does?
That's why I said that's the only reason. That was my main reason why I'm saying ancestors of your highest and greatest good. Because if you don't know names enough. You don't know nobody names when you say that. But that's why I said you also have to have protection. Protection is super important because that's if you just have with a lineage and just call your ancestors, you don't know that. I mean, it could be
You
a
don't know
trickster.
who you call.
Yes. Even everything, them cards, oh my god, everything. Like, make sure you always have protection. So I have a protection candle, and when I'm lighting my protection, I'm like protection from everybody that is not of my ancestors, my highest and greatest good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anybody, any spirit, no nothing. I don't want it. You know, keep all that evil, everything out. Get it away.
Yeah,
Okay.
because ain't nobody got time for
Yes,
that.
and then I would just call like that. I would call like that, especially if I don't know. I don't know. Like that's my thing. But I don't know. That's what I'm calling. And then it's funny because like sometimes you'll call one ancestor and then they'll be like, let's say if I call all my ancestors, my highest and greatest good, but I'll say like I'll call one, they'll bring down, they'll go get they
They'll go get that whole party. Like, I didn't even
they
call all these people. I just called one person.
they were like, oh yeah, hold on a second. We gonna go get my wife. We gonna go get
Right.
your grandma. We gonna go get your cousin.
Like, who invited all these people to the party?
You said ancestors are the highest good, so I got you. That was facts. I remember. We like, what the? Hold on a second. We like, why is he taking so long? And he was like, oh yeah, came back like, yeah, had to go get your uncle.
X,
Like,
Y,
what?
and Z. Who invited X, Y, and Z? I only called you.
That's a fact. Cause I wrote down, I was like, oh my god. Yeah, that's funny. Cause that's a fact.
Okay, so what's your favorite style of divination?
Ooh. Mm. I would say I have a
Dream recall? Is it tarot? Is it
candles.
candles?
Candles
Oh,
and oracle cards.
nice.
Candles,
So
oracle cards.
tell me how that started, especially the candle thing, because you know a lot of people they can't scribe flames or like read the flames. Like that takes a long time to like
Yeah,
master.
that's a
So like,
fact.
how did you get into that?
So candles, oh my god. So that's why I'm like going back. I always would like different things, but I still didn't. Even baths, like my grandma used to always give me spiritual baths. Again, I still was like, oh, I want to do it, you know. And I used to, you know, it's funny because the spiritual baths, I used to get one every New Year's, and I used to just think it was like happiness, money, joy. I didn't know it was like cleansing and all that protection. I didn't know that. But candles. I don't know. I don't really remember. I know I always was always doing like little candles, but I know I started to read them. I think one time when my candle burst or something, or it turned
Oh
black, and I
god.
was like, "This is weird."
Uh-huh.
So that's when I started like, "What is going on?" And then I had, I've been doing candles for like, oh my god, that's yeah, 4 or 5, yeah, 4 years.
4 or 5 years.
So I would always see different things. So I'm looking like, hold up, let me read this. I had like it'd be like the tall, long one, and then I started doing like the little short ones, and that's when I really started reading because it'll come like when it burns down, it'll burn in like different ways. I remember I saw one that had like I did like a protection one, and it had goggles, like somebody was looking at
I love
me.
when you see faces in the candles, cause like,
Oh
how
my,
did y'all form that? That's how you.
yes,
That's how you know. Like that's like
yes,
if you're talking to a muggle and a muggle will be like, how do you know that your ancestors are actually present on your altar?
right
The
there.
water. Look at the water.
Yes,
Bubbles in the water.
yep.
If your food done dried up after 2 days,
Looks
if the
something
flowers are
drops.
dying, like they're
Yes.
present and like seeing
Everything.
how they present themselves, it's like, wow, you guys are really will. I've been doing this
Yeah.
for 6 years, and Nisha could probably attest because she's been doing it for 5. We still have those moments of like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I'm about to say, even the cigarette. I lit the cigarette and was like, why is it still going? It burnt the whole
They wanted to take
cigarette.
their time.
I was like, the whole cigarette is gone. Huh? It's they lit the whole time. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. And I don't like the smell of it, so I'm over here like this. And I'm like, it's
Yeah,
still
no,
going.
seriously. And it's so funny because like when people used to come and see me, they used to see the pack of cigarettes and they be like, "Ashley, you smoke cigarettes?" And I'm like, "No, those not mine." And they probably looking at me like, "So you're the only person here. So whose cigarettes are those?"
That's a fact. Oh, God. Oh shoot. Damn. And I just started getting the cigarettes. Damn.
Okay, so speaking
So
of
I got that.
offerings, what are some of your favorite offerings to give?
Ooh, food. Food.
Yeah,
Food. It's always food. 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 I like giving candles sometimes, but it's usually food.
I
It's
like even
food.
giving incense too.
I don't.
Like when you
I
like
do
walk in the
incense,
house and
but
they be like this, and I've been like, okay.
yeah, I do it, but not really. I like giving food because it
But
be
again,
like different
everybody's
foods.
different. Like especially like us, we come from a family of cooks, so of course they
Yeah, and
probably wanna.
candy. They want candy.
Oh yeah, candy. I was gonna ask like any funny stories. I feel like I know what story you're gonna tell, but go ahead, tell
Two funny stories. So the
it.
first one was the funny story when I did your damn reading. I did your reading. And I remember you telling me get some mic and ice. So I got some mic and ice for your spirit guy. Right? I got it. Boom, right here. And I'm like, while I'm doing the reading, I'm like, why do I feel like he over there eating the damn mic and ice like this? I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what in the world? And then yo, the next one. This was it Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving. It was 2 years ago. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this, and I'm gonna make I didn't say macaroni salad. Did I say macaroni salad? No, I said I'm not gonna make no. I didn't have none of that. I had regular turkey, mac and cheese, whatever. And I heard loud as hell potato salad. So at first I'm like, I don't got no money. Like I just got all this stuff. Nobody got time for no potato salad. So I kind of like ignored it a little bit, like I'm bugging, right? So then my cousin come down and she's like, "Are you gonna make potato salad?" So now I'm looking at her like, "Yo, I don't got no money for no potato. I'm not making no potato salad." So I still was kind of like, "All right, I'm gonna make macaroni salad." I said, "I'm gonna make macaroni salad." Right? La la la. I'm getting this stuff and I'm like, I can hear it again. Potato salad. So I'm like, I don't got no money. Why? I look to my account. I don't know how this money appeared. I don't know how it appeared or something. It just appeared. I don't know if it was a refund or something. Yo.
It's
And I
like
had
here, go make it now.
they surely did. Cause I'm gonna make macaroni salad and I kept hearing like no. I'm like and I'm not gonna money. And I looked and I was like, oh my god, where the hell does money come from? I don't know. I don't know. So I went and made the macaroni salad, to a potato
That's
salad. But it was funny
funny.
because they was like really potato salad. Like it was loud as hell.
I feel
Like
like we
potato
gonna have
salad.
to do a part two to this live because I feel like when you talk about ancestors, it's like so many directions you could go in. You could talk
Yeah,
about how working with your ancestors is important when you get into dangerous situations because you know you have that ancestor protection. Like we could talk
definitely.
about how ancestors have a really fierce streak of vengeance when it comes to their descendants. Like so, we're definitely gonna have a do a part two. Um, Okay. So let's get into a more general topic because we have a lot of people, and actually, I wrote down this question, and my perspective on the question has definitely changed. We have a lot of people, especially like palm colored people, let's say the proper term, that claim that they practice hoodoo and they connect to these hoodoo deities because hoodoo does have deities, everybody.
Yeah.
We have a pantheon of ourselves, and they claim that they're practicing hoodoo. So, how do you feel? Like, what's your standpoint on hoodoo as a closed space for Black people?
So listen. If you are
Keep it
not,
PG.
like, listen, if you are not of a black descendant and you practice hoodoo, I don't have a problem, but the hoodoo itself, the
This is
deities
what
and everything, you understand? You will get consequences. You will get, and that's not even me being like for me. Like it would just be because it's closed. It's not for you. It's closed to only African descendants. Okay, black people, African American, all that, brown. Okay, so if you decide you want to go dabble in that, okay, you decide you want to go do it anyway. Because I feel like a lot of people is not even aware. Also, they're not aware. They're ignorant. They're not aware to it. So that's one thing. But a lot of them like, yeah, yeah, whatever. and still do it. I remember
Like
I
the
looked
girl
up.
that tried to curse Papa Legba. Where's she at
Yes,
now?
yes. And then I looked on. I was on TikTok and somebody was talking about Hoodoo, whatever, like it's close practice, and somebody wrote in the comments like, "Chat GBT said it's open." I was like, "See, dumb people." Now she said it's open practice. See, stuff like that will
That's
have
what
them
you
be ignorant,
know.
and they will get consequences because it's like we're telling you and you're not believing us when we're the ones. Why are you believing the computer? Why are you believing the
And
computer? That makes no
I'm
sense.
not gonna get too activist on this, but I feel like it's very colonistic-y for y'all to be trying to take a practice that's y'all's.
That's what
Now,
I'm
from
saying.
what my understanding, because I like to study things and then restudy them a few years later to see if I grasp new concepts. There are certain styles of hoodoo that aren't necessarily centralized to African Americans. So like go find your thing and stop trying to take ours.
That's what I'm saying. And they have their own thing.
Mm-hmm,
Why do y'all
mm-hmm.
want to come over here? Go to your own thing. Your own
And
thing.
then
I don't want to
even
say it.
like I'm not opposed to palm-colored people learning about the practice or like buying things from a hoodoo practitioner or getting a hoodoo practitioner to do work for them. But you have to understand two things. One, when it comes to people of that descent, you don't necessarily know the energy that you're connecting to. Everybody has spirit guides, right? But ancestors, like I don't necessarily think you would call their spirits ancestors, but everybody does have ancestors, right? And two, like you can learn about the religion without disrespecting it. So if we're telling you
Yes.
you trying to appropriate this religion, not religion, I mean to take that back. Sorry, hoodoo is not religion. If you're trying to appropriate this practice and we're telling you like, hey, don't do it, there's gonna be consequences. Whatever you do after that is between you and God.
That's what I'm saying. And I feel like, yes, you can like learn about it, but don't practice it. Learn about it. Learn about it. Oh my God, I'm intrigued. Learn as much as you can. But when you start practicing it and you start doing things that is hoodoo, that is when consequences happen. And I just feel like that's what it is. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen. It ain't even bounce back from us. It's gonna bounce back from just the energy of it. Because it's not
Right,
for you.
right.
Period.
And then like find the practice that's native to your line. It may not
Yeah.
even be voodoo. Let's talk about let's talk about the African diaspora because a lot of people think that they're supposed to initiate to like Ifa or Hoodoo or
Yeah.
Santeria or Candomblé or Voodoo. Like all those practices are great. Don't get me wrong. They all have their strengths. They all are derivative from each other. They all have certain similarities. But everybody's path is not to initiate. Go
Yeah.
with your path.
That's a
That's the
fact.
best advice that we can both give you guys. Like, go with your path. Because,
Don't just do something because it's popular. Don't just do
right,
something
or you
because
feel
it's
like,
trendy.
or don't do it for power. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people tap into this stuff to get power, and
Mm.
that's gonna reap more consequences than anything else.
Do not. And before y'all do anything, guys, ask your ancestors. Don't just be
Mhm.
over here. "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this." No, ask them first because they're gonna tell you if you should or not. They're gonna give you a suggestion because if you do it and if you do something that they told you not to, if you do something that you are not supposed to do, you're gonna have consequences on your own.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like you
right,
people be, "Oh yeah, I'm a put somebody in the freezer, put a damn thing in the freezer or something, or do something," and you do it, and they're gonna be like, "We didn't tell you to do that." So now they're gonna
right,
leave
right, right. Who told you to
consequences.
do that? Now we gotta clean up
Facts.
your mess, and that's even
Yes,
if we want to do it, because sometimes they'll let you sit in shit to learn your lesson.
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they're like, "All
Mhm.
right, nobody told you to do that. We didn't
Good
tell you."
luck. We'll come when you drowning.
Especially if y'all be doing like some over the wall craziness, like going to hex somebody or something,
Like
and you go
hexing
do it.
somebody.
Yes, you go hex them. They're like, "What's wrong with you? Like,
Why
we
would
didn't
you
tell you
do
to do
that?
that. Why would you do
People
that? Now
don't
you messed up the
understand.
whole."
Like, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but people don't understand. Um, our ancestors weren't hexing people because they talked bad about them, or they stole a man, or these little petty reasons. Like, you have to understand the implications that hexing somebody comes with. People, our ancestors were hexing their slave masters to make sure that when they went to go into battle in these slave revolts, that they were coming up with the best possible outcome, the best outcome possible. Yeah, I'm on tongue. But like, don't be all hex crazy. Don't be doing shit you ain't got no business doing.
Or love spells.
Yeah. God,
they be doing love spells. Y'all doing love spells. That's what I'm saying. You doing a love spell for somebody that they don't even want you to be with. They want you to be with. Yo, it don't make no sense. And y'all should be doing no love spells anyway.
Right.
Stop trying to make people
fall in love that way anyway.
Stop trying to make people fall in love with y'all, okay?
That's what I'm saying. Let it happen organically, and if it don't, then it's a million fish in the sea.
Yes, and it's probably not for you. It's probably not for you. You're becoming obsessed. It's probably not even for you. Stop doing that. Stop looking on TikTok. Or Instagram, YouTube. Don't be doing that, please. I'll be seeing it and I'll be irritated.
Okay, so do you have any advice for baby hoodoos that's wanting to find their way?
Yes. So, oh damn, we just said a whole lot of it.
I know. But any like tidbits and tricks that you find are helpful for you?
Yeah. Okay. It's a lot. All right, so we gotta narrow it down because I think I said a couple already. So I said protection, cleansing. That's important for everything. Always important. Always important. Ask your guides. Always important. Please, 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 please. That is like the super important cleansing, protection in anything you do. Don't tap into that. Don't do anything without protection. That's number one. Number one, please. Oh my God, and don't do anything because it's trending. And I would say. I'm seeing I was about to say something else, but I'm seeing a notebook, which is so weird. Like take notes.
Things down. Because we do talk about like the book of shadow, like writing a book of shadows, the past down. But I heard this hoodoo practitioner on TikTok. He said that it's good to have like multiple notebooks because you can write down your spells as you do them, and you'll know the results of them. So you'll know, like, okay, if this spell wasn't potent enough, I'm not gonna put that in the finalized book, but I'm gonna keep it because I know, you know. So writing things down, yeah, that's another important one too.
That's why I got mad notebooks. I be just having notebooks. I be writing stuff over there, writing stuff over there, writing stuff over there. For real. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Notebooks. But yeah, I would say.
What? Oh no, go ahead.
No, go.
No, you're good.
It's also like how I want to say. When I'm also talking about protection, I also want to be like protection from in your house as well, like your space. Don't just be like protection on you, like your house, wherever you are, wherever you go, the car, everything. Important. Because even if you're like when you're into this life and everything, you are gonna have the demonic things that's gonna want to come and attack you, the bad energy and everything, stuff like that. And everything is not the devil, okay? Everything is not bad. Sometimes God and your guys will shift you if you're not in alignment.
Not even that. Duality exists in everything. So where there's benevolent, there's always gonna be malevolent, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the devil. And please, guys, the devil, Satan, and Lucifer are 3 different people.
Yeah, you were saying that. I need to learn.
They have 3 separate energies. Like,
that is crazy. Well,
and that's why it's important to not only study your lineage, but study that religious text that your guides were like. Just because you're not Christian doesn't mean that you're not supposed to respect the religion of your ancestors. Yeah. Not only that, learn from it. It's so many gems in that Bible. People don't even know that there were books in the Bible that were taken out, like the book of Enoch.
Yep. That's a fact.
Studying those things. Still do the Bible study. Still go to church. Like, process your church hurt. Because that's trauma. But also understand that people of God, if there's a message and spirit wants you to receive the message, what you gonna do? Not walk in the church house because you traumatized?
Yeah, no. That's a fact.
People don't realize that being spiritual, they see it as an anesthetic instead of.
It's like, and yes, that's a fact too, because it's a lifestyle. You have to live it. It's not like, oh my God, I'm just gonna do this just for everybody in their cars, and I'm just gonna go live a crazy life. Like, no.
Right, right.
That part too. Oh my gosh. That
Okay,
part.
so we have a few minutes. We're definitely gonna bring Nisha back for a part 2 because this was a lot of fun. So just plug your socials. How can people find you? Plug your businesses. Everything's gonna be in description, but we're gonna let her do it.
Yes. So finding you healing. I'm on Google. I'm on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Facebook, but I don't be on Facebook too much. I be on TikTok, y'all. And website findingyouhealing.com as well. And my Instagram is _intuitive Nisha. Okay? That's what we're
Okay.
doing. So yeah. And I'm about to have YouTube, y'all. I'm about to start putting my YouTube out. I think my
Yes.
YouTube is Finding You Healing too.
Game
Yes.
time.
Everything. Finding You Healing, Finding You Healing.
This is really great. I appreciate you for coming on and
Yes,
like sharing your
I love
story. I
this.
love
This is
it.
fun.
I know it was so much fun. Okay, before our timer goes out, thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah, we're gonna catch you on the next episode.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.